In today's tutorial, I have the perfect Shulker farm for you. The farm itself requires no redstone at all to use, while the Shulker duplicator platform just uses a few simple sticky pistons. With 20 Shulkers constantly shooting at you and a simple collection system, this farm is not only extremely fast, but incredibly easy to make as well. If you enjoy Bedrock Edition tutorials and want to support the channel, click the like button right now and comment below what farm, survival play, or game mechanics tutorial you want to see next. I will be looking at the comments to pick my next video. Now for the Shulker breeder, you will need 135 glass blocks, 29 rails, 18 powered rails, 8 levers, 38 redstone dust, 16 target blocks, 57 buttons, 16 sticky pistons, 62 solid full blocks, 1 slab, and 1 repeater. And for the farm, you will need 788 solid blocks, 80 buttons, 17 glass blocks, 5 hoppers, 22 scaffolding, and 6 chests. You will also need maybe an extra stack or so of glass blocks to use temporarily, as well as a few extra rails and powered rails to move the Shulkers to the main system. Now, first, you're going to need to pick your location, and there's really 3 locations to choose from. You can either build the farm right by an end city like this. You could build it out here on the main end island, or with a little bit of extra work, you can build it in the overworld. Now, with those locations being said, by the end city is the easiest, on the end island is the second easiest, and doing this thing in the overworld is going to be the hardest. They're all the same once you get the Shulkers to where you need them, but the actual moving of the Shulkers, that is the difficult part. And speaking about making things easier, today's sponsor will probably make life a lot easier for you. We've all been there, stuck in a job we dislike or looking through internal job postings only to see we don't meet the education qualifications for the position we want to apply for. I was there myself just a few years ago. So if you feel like your experience is holding you back from pursuing the career you want, then I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, one that I have some personal experience with as I took their online classes for a couple of years, Southern New Hampshire University. SNHU has one of the largest accredited nonprofit online degree offerings in the country. And today I want to talk to you about their game development program. In this program, you can learn to create realistic and dynamic gameplay experiences with game AI, physics, and 2D or 3D graphics and interface design. You'll learn different programming languages like C++, C#, and Java, as well as use Unreal Engine to construct games for various platforms. These courses are taught by faculty with real-world experience who will teach you how to research, develop, and contribute to advances in trends within the field of game programming. SNHU is radically affordable. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation. I had many great experiences with their tuition department while attending myself. Go to snhu.edu/prowl or click the link in my description below to see what the current average annual salary for a game developer is and request free information about the program. When you request information, a real person will hop on a call and discuss how the program can benefit you personally. It only takes 1 click to find your calling. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to lay out your minecart tracks from the location that you want the Shulkers to move to first, leading up to the Shulkers that you're going to move. So when you find one of these end cities, the best Shulkers to use are these guys right down here. They're already primed and ready to go. They're in a perfect spot. There's always 2 of them at the entrance of every end city. Now, a couple things you're going to want to make sure of when dealing with Shulkers. Number 1, you need to know they're going to hit you, and they're going to hit you probably a lot. You cannot use potions of invisibility to hide from them because they will still find ways to shoot and hit you. And also, you got to worry about, where'd he go? These guys right here, Enderman, they're going to attack you too. So my suggestion, bring your best gear. Wear all protection 4 gear. Make sure you have an elytra so you can fly around if need be, but also have your chest plate on you too. And a shield would probably also be a good idea. Also, make sure you set your spawn right by your end portal. That way, if you do die, you can easily get back and have a spare elytra to be able to fly back to this location. Now, next, which end city do you select? Well, if you plan on building the farm at the end city, any end city will work. That's fine. But if not, you're going to want an end city like this one that has an end gateway close by. And if you want to figure out how to find that out without searching around for hours and hours, well, there's one way that you can do it. Go here to chunkbase.com, click on apps, click on the seed map app at the very top here, put in your seed number, make sure you have Bedrock, whatever version of the world the terrain was generated on, probably 1.20, and have it set to the end. This right here will show you everything in the end. And all you want to do is look for one of these little ender pearls right beside a purple block, which is for the end cities, and zoom in, figure out what your coordinates to that one are. We happen to be at this one right here. It's like right on top of it, but obviously you should find a decent amount of them. Grab your coordinates. If you double click and set your little like red dot like I did right there, the coordinates can be found down here in the X and the Z. And once you travel out here, this is what you will find. You will see I am at those coordinates and the end gateway is there. Now here in a moment, I will show you how to get to this point, but it's important that I show you this part first in terms of how it works to transfer these guys across dimensions or across these areas. You're going to get them to the point where they're about to go up into your end gateway, and you need to make sure that you are up here in the area ready and waiting to capitalize. So you may want to have this thing turned off at first and then jump up here and then give them a little push. But essentially, once you get them to this point and they go in, they're gonna get stuck there and they will suffocate if you let them sit there. Take your pickaxe, give this one whack, and he will teleport through, but not always 100% of the time. So this part, unfortunately, is gonna be a little bit of trial and error. You're gonna have to try this multiple times, get Shulkers up here to get them to teleport through. Sometimes they will teleport away. It looks like it worked both times, just not in the way I expected. So you're gonna have to get these guys to teleport somewhere where you're gonna be able to grab him. This could be a pain in the butt, but what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to break the blocks that they land on to get them to teleport away to a place where you can work with them. And this part could be a pretty big pain in the butt. There we go. We got one there. It's like the other guys right here. And there we go. Now keep in mind when you're doing this, these guys, they're going to be shooting you the whole time. I'm in creative mode. I already did this in survival in the Bedrock guide, so I'm not about to have to deal with that again while making a tutorial. But if you go back and watch the guide, you'll see the troubles that I went through. It's not easy. Again, this is the hardest part, but eventually you'll get them to this point. Now, lastly, if you're going to put this guy in the overworld, this part's not really easy. And I actually have not even tested it myself, but I've seen people tell me how to do it. So my understanding is this is what you do. Before you drop them into the end portal here, you're gonna need to prep the overworld side with some basic things first. And I'm gonna do this slightly different than the way that I heard because it just makes more sense to me. First, you need to know where world spawn is. So if you don't know where that is, use a compass. Don't mind the end portal there. That's for easy travel for me. Use the compass. The compass will take you to where your world spawn is, or you're going to have to kill yourself and not have a bed to respawn to. Either way, that's fine. But in our case, we know world spawn is right here. So what some people have said to do is just put a minecart track right here, and a shulker in a minecart being caught by a minecart will just drop right down and fall in here. I don't like the sound of that. It sounds too risky for me. I don't want to risk my shulker dying. So I think instead I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to put a bucket of water right here like this to catch our shulker. And that's all the overworld prep that we should need to do. Although if you want the shulker to be higher, because eventually you're going to have to move them up maybe like 20 to 30 blocks in the air, you could build a little platform up top that catches them as well. But we're just going to do it right here just to make it simple. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your shulkers from over there. Again, we'll go over moving them in a moment. You're going to take them from over there and you're going to plop them into here just like this. Now, when you do this, he will be sitting in the minecart. Again, take your pickaxe, give that minecart a little pop, and your shulker should be inside of the portal. Next thing I want you to do is build a little thing out here just like this. Put something right above the portal. Take a boat, put it right here, and then break this. We're doing this so the boat has no outward trajectory. It's simply falling straight down. And one more thing I wanted to do, actually, I did not see this recommendation, but it makes sense to me. So I'm going to give it to you guys. We're going to see if it works. You might want to move both shulkers at the same time, which makes the minecart track not the best way to do it. It makes this the best way to do it. So if we have another shulker that we send through here, let's see if this works. So we got two shulkers that should be on the overworld side. Now here is the tricky part. Oh, they're there. Oh my God, it worked. Oh, I did not expect that. If you don't use something to catch them and you just send them through, they appear like 10,000, 15,000 something blocks in the air. It's ridiculous. This, oh my God, this worked so easily. I wish I would have done it in my world. Oh well, I'm going to do for you guys in a tutorial. We're going to build this thing right here now that I know how easy this is. So if you are going to be moving the shulkers, regardless of where you're moving them from and where you're moving them to, always start your path from the point you want the shulkers to go to, rather than starting your path from the shulkers. This is going to make things much, much easier for you. As you can see, that's what I'm doing here is I'm starting up there and I'm working the rails towards the shulkers which are right around the corner here. And I'm actually going to show you guys the trick to getting these guys in the way that gets you harassed, I guess is the best way to put it, the least, is we want to kind of like obscure ourselves from view from the shulkers as long as possible, right? So like I can peek at him right here, right? And I need to actually start building this track up. And yes, that should work. If I put a mine cart right there, and we're gonna need to make it a powered rail. So I'm gonna put powered rail here and here. If I place a mine cart right here by this shulker, first of all, if I'm close enough around the corner, he's probably not shooting me. And then second of all, if you put the mine cart right beside the shulker, it will pop in there 100% of the time. And also, if you're having trouble, you can even go as far as like blocking off this other shulker from being able to see you. So you could do something like this. And then that shulker, he won't shoot you now. But I would go ahead and from around the corner here, I would hop up and place the mine cart down. The shulker is in it. And you would then run up and give it a little tap and send it on its way. Follow it up as fast as you can. If you are teleporting it, get up here quick and break. Now it's possible you will run into a bug that I ran into while I was doing this for the first time. What that bug was is sometimes when I had a shulker in a cart, if I tried to walk up and push the cart, it would not move. It was like it was a solid block, could not move it. If you have that happen, that's a bug, because once you have power on, it should only take the lightest tap to move it. So if the lightest tap is not moving it, just log off your game and log back in. It'll fix the bug. Now, once you get your shulkers to wherever you want them, make sure they can't shoot you. So like I would probably just want to like build a little box around them. That way I do not have to worry about them shooting me while I'm doing the things that I need to do. Okay, so getting started with this thing is going to be simple. You can pretty much put it anywhere, with the exception of if you're going to do this on the center end island, you're going to want to do it on like the outer perimeter, because you do not want the dragon, if you respawn her, to fly into it and delete some of the blocks. Okay, but that's really your only restriction here. And outside of that, you do want it to be away from any other blocks by at least like 10, let's say 12 if you want to round up, just to make sure that your shulkers don't teleport. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to start with super simple storage. They're just shulker shells, right? So you probably don't need to have a whole lot of storage, but if you're playing on like a multiplayer server, maybe you will want to have a lot more because you plan on selling them or supplying them to a lot of people. In our case here, we're just going to do 3 double chests. That's honestly quite a lot. And what you're going to want to do once you have your chests down wherever they're going to go is from this center hopper right here. You kind of see how I have things laid out. You're going to want to go out 8 blocks in each direction. Once you're done there, on each side, go up a block and go out 4. Do this all the way around as well. Next, add a border along the outside by going out 1 and up 1 and just surrounding the outside edge of the farm. Okay, once you have a border around that outside edge of the platform, go ahead to each corner and come out 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, and then do a little L shape right here in the corner and do all of your corners just like that. Once you do that, you need to add water to the corner and then add it all the way along the outside. And this will create your water sources that you need to flow all of the shulkers that fall down into the center of the farm. Once you've done that, this is what you should be looking at. Now, next, we're going to want to go up 10 blocks from the highest point of the farm here, and we'll probably round up just to give ourselves a little bit of extra space. So we're going to go up 10 blocks from this location right here. This is Y level 74. So we're going to go up to like, let's say Y level 85, but we're going to do it not from there, but we're going to do it from the center. And if you have it, I recommend you do it with scaffolding. There we go, Y level 85, and make yourself a 3x3 glass platform to stand on. Yes, it needs to be glass. I'll explain why here in just a moment. Okay, now above this platform right here, I want you to go up 3 and just make a little 3x3 platform above it of glass blocks. It does need to be glass blocks. And then out of one of the sides here, I want you to count out 9 blocks. That's 9 blocks right there, okay? Go back to the center, count out 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then go out 6 blocks in each direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now, you need to know which of these is going to be the spawning area. It's going to be these 2 right there, these 2 right here, these 2 right here, and these 2 right here. I say spawning area, the area where the shulkers are going to sit. And now you're going to want to put top and around the sides buttons, because we only want the shulkers to be able to attach to the bottoms of these blocks right here. So everywhere that we do not want a shulker to attach, we need to make sure they cannot attach. That's why we use glass over there. They cannot attach to glass. That's why we're using buttons here. They cannot attach to buttons. Once you get all those buttons in place, you can take out the rest of those blocks. They are not needed anymore. Now do the same thing going in the opposite direction. Now, lastly, on the other two directions, go ahead and count out from the center 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These last two, those are going to be your spawnable blocks. You do that on the other side too. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those last two are my shulker blocks, and we are going to cover those as well everywhere except for the tops. Get rid of those extra blocks, and this is your area where all of your shulkers are going to go, but we are going to need to move them over to this area. So next step here is we're going to go with glass blocks only, a couple blocks out towards wherever we're keeping our shulkers and the direction in which we want our shulker duplication platform, I guess we'll call it, to be, because we probably want it to be close to here because it's going to be easier to move it. Before we actually build the rest of the way out though, you want to take 8 armor stands and just surround yourself with them just like this. Now, will it be awkward that you have a bunch of armor stands looking at you all the time? Maybe, but this is going to be necessary, and I'll show you guys here in just a couple moments. Now, we want to go ahead and we want to take this all the way out to the edge of the platform down there, and maybe go out about another 8 blocks or so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that should be good to go. Now you can put a couple more glass blocks right here, just like that, to just kind of have a little bit of space, because you're going to want to next take sticky pistons and place them in this like orientation and placing right here, where you just have 8 of them in a little like square thingy with the middle one not there. And then from the front pistons right here, or I guess the back piston, whatever way you want to call it, from the pistons furthest away from your farm, you'll want to go out 1, 2, 3, and you'll want to count this way 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and fill in that platform. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now right here, you're just going to want a like space between these pistons right here and another set of pistons in the exact same orientation right here. And the rest of this area, you can just go ahead and fill in with glass blocks, because we just want to make sure that we don't fall down. Next, put a solid block right here, kind of line in with that glass. Count over 2, put another solid block on that third block, another 2, and one more solid block, and do the same thing on both sides. Now we need to place a little chamber for us to sit in, and we're going to do that on this side. We're going to just make a little like walkway again of glass blocks right here. And we're even going to make ourselves a little like corridor to stand in, to make sure that the shulker bullets cannot get to us. And something like that should work good. And we'll take an armor stand and we'll place it right here in the front to make sure that it is underneath this glass block. Now, if you want a good way to get in and out or up and down from here, you can go ahead and set that up, somewhere right back here. Should be perfectly fine if you want to put some scaffolding, a ladder, something like that. Just make sure everything is blocks that the shulkers cannot attach to. Okay, next we can go ahead and put glass here and a solid block right here, and then put glass blocks on top of all of these pistons. Over on this guy right here, we could put a glass block right here, and we want to actually put a slab right here, a slab right there. And actually, I just realized this needs to bump down by 1. So we got to take out these pistons. It's supposed to go in line right here. So there is 2 rows of blocks between this set of pistons and this set of pistons, like that. Now again, you go ahead and put a glass block in the middle, put a slab right there, and that side is now all good to go. Go ahead and place glass blocks all the way around here. These glass blocks you will see in a little bit, they're going to be used to keep the shulkers from shooting us when we don't want them to shoot, because there will be times that we do not want them to shoot. Now this next part is going to be not too bad, but slightly tricky for you to do in survival mode. I'm just going to fly to make it a little bit easier for the tutorial. Somewhere like back here, maybe we're going to put a solid block. We're going to put a lever on top of that solid block. And to make sure that a shulker cannot attach to it, we're going to put buttons on the sides, on the bottom. Now below here, we can put, actually we don't need the bottom button because we're going to put redstone right there. That will also block. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to bring this glass out this way like so. And then underneath every piston, we're going to put a target block. The target block will redirect redstone into the target block itself. And when the target block gets power, so does the piston above it, which is exactly what we want. So after we get those set, we need to actually take our glass and surround the target blocks just like this. and then come out one more right here and do the same thing on this side. Now, bring your redstone dust down, and just to make sure it's able to reach all the way around, take a repeater, place it right here, and then run your redstone dust around all these target blocks. And then you can do the same thing right here. And what should happen is if we flip this lever, all of our pistons extend up, all of the glass goes up. This would be the breeder being turned off, or the duplicator being turned off. This would be the duplicator being turned on. Next, we need to get our shulkers up here. So those guys are covered down there, so we can start from the top or bottom. Either way, doesn't matter. I guess let's start from the bottom because it should be a little bit easier to make our way up. We know we're going to pull the shulkers out of here, so we'll probably start the tracks like right in here, right? And then we're going to take the tracks up, and we're going to use glass blocks again because we do not want shulkers sticking to this. So we'll just staircase ourselves up a little ways like so, and then we'll probably make a little turn like this, and then continue to staircase our way up. Whatever way you want to do it is fine. Just make sure you use the glass blocks is going to be the most important thing. That gets them up here. I think that should be good. And what we'll do is I'm probably just going to use all powered rails because it's incline all the way up anyways, except for the little turn because you can't have curved powered rails. And we'll work them all the way up. Now, once you get up to this point right here, knock out this glass block. You can keep it powered going all the way up just like so. And we're almost ready to bring our shulkers up. But there's a problem. We have a whole lot of spawnable spaces that we don't want spawnable. We want none of this spawnable, and eventually we'll have only this top area be spawnable. So what you need to do, you need to get down below and above, and you need to put a button on every single spot. The bottom, the sides, everywhere. Make sure you get the tops and the backs of this block right here as well. You have to make sure you get every single spot. If you don't, those guys are going to go somewhere you don't want them to go, and you're going to have the headache of having to scoop them up in a minecart again while they're trying to shoot at you. So do not make the mistake of leaving any spot free. That includes the sides of these pistons right here. They can attach to the sides of pistons as well. Remember, they will not attach to glass blocks, so you don't need to worry about the glass blocks at all. We have redstone dust in all of these locations, so we don't have to worry about that. But even down here, we have a little space right here. You can fill that with glass block, or you can place a button down. Either way, just make sure you fill all those slots. I'm not going to stress that enough because somebody's going to mess this up and it's going to be a big headache for you, and it's not going to be my fault. Now, the only spot that we do not want to put a button is right here, because we do want a shulker to go right there as well. But I do think that I have everything situated here. So we will power our rails over here. Power those rails right there, and power these rails right here. Now, before we bring that shulker in, what I want to do is I want to get one empty cart in here first. So we're going to go ahead and place this dude right here, push it in. Boom, we have an empty cart. Okay, so we should be good to go from that respect. So now we would go through, break ourselves in, and we know they're going to be able to see us. So we're going to try to stay out of their way. Going to try it. Yep, we got a rail right there. We're going to put a rail right here. We're going to put a mine cart right here. Ooh, we can't yet. We're going to break the boat, place a mine cart, and off he goes. Once he goes up and he gets right here, you'll want to hit the power button right here and give him a little nudge. Oh, and that did not work. And why didn't that work? Because I made a mistake. It's a minor one, but it is a mistake. We need to place a block here and a block here. So now have power going up like this. And then now when our second cart goes there, it should make its way in. There he goes. There he goes. And he went. Perfect. Okay. Now that we've done that, we could take this out, and place that glass block down right there. And we're almost done. Almost done. Go ahead and place some buttons down on these spots that you just exposed. Bring that platform in. Just look, I missed one. See, I told you guys to be careful, and here I am. And what we're actually going to do, I was going to put them right here, but we're just going to drop them right in to avoid any type of like possible complications. So I'm going to just temporarily take some of these blocks off. I think we got to like go up one like this. There we go. And we're just going to take him all the way up and in. And bam, he'll plop down right there. Place our minecart down, run in, give him a push. He'll plop in almost. We should have put some like little border blocks around here apparently. We'll put some over there. It's fine. There, we got him in. Now this guy right here, we don't actually want him in the cart. So I'm going to break this. I'm going to break this. I'm going to break his mine cart and then place that glass back down. And then now I can get rid of all of this track stuff. I don't need it anymore. I'm going to want to make sure that I replace all of my buttons that I may have taken down. Again, we want to make sure there are 0 spawnable spots, or attachable spots, I should say, anywhere for the shulker, which looks like, I think we're good. And now I can show you the fun part, which is some of these mechanics and how this guy works before we do the next piece, which is get them over here. Although we should probably set up the track for that. So all of your top side buttons, get rid of all of them. Now, what you're going to do is I took off some of the side buttons as well, although these ones need to stay. I'm going to run glass out here and connect it in right here. Same thing over here. I'll take out all of these buttons, leave one there, place glass along here, and again, run it into there like this. Or actually, this row right here, we're going to bring a couple blocks further and bring it in up here. You'll see why in a moment. We need to replace this block right here. And we're going to put a powered rail, a single powered rail in front of each of these. And then starting from the front side, we're going to add in the rest of the rails that we need. We're going to add in a regular rail, powered rail, regular rail, powered rail. And one more, regular, and powered. Now connect them all together with regular rails there, and just make sure you have enough rail power to get yourself out here. Do the same for this side. And when you get to this little junction right here, you want this to kind of curve in first. So connect this one first, and then connect this one second. And then this guy will shoot straight across, and this guy will curve in, and everything will work out great. Make sure you get power to all your powered rails. You want to place something like glass, and then get a lever and power that thing on. Do that for each of these slots right here, and then run this right the way up until like you get right between these two right here, and you can stop the rails right there. Should be fine. Now, next, place a mine cart on each one of these spots. And what you're doing is you're making it to where when we get a shulker duplication, which I'm about to explain how that works in a second, when it duplicates and it teleports, it will only have blocks that are touching a mine cart to teleport to, including this guy right here. So the shulkers will only go where we want them to go. That's it. So with that being said, how does this thing work? What we're going to do is I could put myself in survival mode right now. These guys, they cannot shoot me, but when I press this lever, they will be able to shoot at me. So I'm going to put this lever down. He can target me, and there he goes. He's shooting. You see the back shulker is shooting the front shulker. The front shulker is trying to shoot me, but it's hitting the armor stand instead. When it hits the armor stand instead, the armor stand would float up, which is actually kind of funny to see, but it can't because there's a block above it. And then we're going to actually sit here and watch. There's 2 shulkers inside of there right now. As soon as we get 2 shulkers in, we know that we're about to need to turn this thing off. You'll barely be able to tell because you'll be able to see 2 shulkers overlapping each other. And when you're doing this, you need to keep an eye out for that 3rd shulker to appear and to pop into a cart, because as soon as that happens, you need to shut the system off. If you don't, when this shulker right here dies, he will not reappear inside of the cart, and instead you'll just have this shulker here and this shulker here. Maybe I need to explain that a little bit better. I have here 2 different representations. You have the green area right here, which is the maximum distance in which, if I'm standing right there in the middle, that a shulker can detect me and shoot at me. This is roughly it. I know these outer edges are the max distance. The corners may be slightly off because I just whipped this back up based on my knowledge. But essentially, if you stand in the middle, shulkers anywhere in here, they can target you and shoot at you. If anything outside of that area, the shulkers can't see you, they won't shoot their shells at you, the farm won't work. Now, what happens is when you have a couple shulkers here and you're standing as the player in the center, those shulkers are trying to shoot at you. This front one right here will actually hit this shulker right there, and this shulker right here will hit this shulker right here. When this shulker is killed by a shulker shell, couple things are going to happen. First, the game's going to check and see how many shulkers are within this red zone right here. If the answer is 2 or more, it's not going to duplicate the shulker that got killed. If it looks in this area and it sees there is only 1 shulker in the area, or 0 for that matter, in the area when it gets shot and killed, a new shulker will appear in this same spot 100% of the time. On top of that, for every shulker shell that a shulker gets hit by, it has a small chance for a new shulker to duplicate off. Okay, now in our case here, we're not really using that mechanic because we only have these 2 spots for shulkers to land on. But you'll see what happens here in a little bit once we have the whole farm filled up. But you can kind of imagine how this works. Shulkers keep killing each other. There is never more than 1 additional shulker being detected in one of these little red circle areas around the shulkers at one time. So every single pair of these platforms is able to spawn a new shulker 100% of the time. So with that being said, once we duplicate the shulkers like we did, what happened was this shulker in the back killed the shulker in the front, which makes a new one pop up. And since we have 2 mine carts there, it is going to stay in that spot 100% of the time. Oh gosh. If you only have 1 mine cart there, which I made the mistake of doing when I made this in survival, until I finally learned my lesson, is that 1 minecart means that that shulker will sometimes not appear back in the minecart. He'll teleport somewhere and you have to keep moving him back. Very annoying. So 2 minecarts stacked on top of each other. Every so often, the shulker in the back will duplicate the shulker in the front with just a hit, meaning a 3rd shulker appears. That 3rd shulker seems to always appear in that 2nd cart right there. And within a hit or 2 after that, it doesn't like sharing the block with the shulker right there, and it ends up teleporting away and landing in one of these carts right here, which is what we have. Now, when it lands in one of these carts, what do? Well, we poke our head out, we hit the button, we don't get hit by a shell, and we watch it move its way out here as the shell chases us and as we accidentally hit more mine carts. Anyways, once it gets down here, we run down, oh gosh, that's not gonna work. I need to grab, and there we go. As you can see, since we have those little like barriers up, we're kind of free to walk around here. If you're scared of like falling down, fill that in with glass, that's fine. But eventually you're gonna need to run out to this guy. You're probably gonna get knocked around a little bit because he's gonna shoot at you. But once you get out here to him, just go ahead and hit that right there. And what he'll do is he'll pop up and he'll attach to one of these blocks. Now we're gonna repeat that process a few more times. And how many times you're gonna repeat it? About 8, because what you want to end up with is to have this little section of the farm filled up right here. That should be enough, because now what we can do is you can go ahead and, I guess what I would do if I was you, and this is what I did in my world, was I made this my method, my way of getting in. I set myself up a little ladder or whatever right here. And then I would just go up right here to get in the middle of the farm. And there we go. After a little bit of time, between 30 minutes and an hour, just depending on your luck, the whole farm should be filled with shulkers. And you'll start getting a lot of shulker shells down in there, even during that process. You may be wondering, how many shulker shells will you get per hour though? Well, I ran the farm for a while and I have some results for you. But first, I want you to know, when you sit AFK at this farm, do not sit at this top level, because these shulkers can sometimes teleport across and knock you around. If you just go down 1 block right here and AFK at this spot, you will be perfectly fine. No risk of getting knocked off the platform in any way. Now, as far as those results, this farm right here that you see, with no redstone to function needed at all, this thing will get you more than 21 stacks of shulker shells per hour. Yes, that is insane. Now I ask you, if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button again. It helps the video get recognized and found by more people. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you have to click the subscribe button right now. Go ahead, do it. Subscribe down below and comment and let me know what you like about this farm, where you plan on using it, and what you plan on doing with all those shulker shells. And I had an idea to maybe do a simpler version of this farm that is much smaller, much easier to do. It's going to be slower, but it's going to be easy for you to throw up, and honestly, probably just, less than an hour, maybe 30 minutes. I don't know. So let me know if you want to see that down in the comments below as well. And I'll see you guys next time.